Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our latest webinar from Bluebridge One about OneShip. And welcome along. And just to quickly introduce ourselves, my name's Mose, and with me is my colleague Noni Ngubo, and we work in the product team here at Bluebridge, and we look after our suite apps, of which OneShip is one of those. And just to explain what we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking about OneShip, giving you a sort of a brief introduction to it for those of you who have not seen it before. And then we're going to look specifically at how you can use OneShip to process large quantities of transactions. So, particularly at this time of year, I know a lot of businesses have sort of very heavy demand around now with things like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and obviously Christmas coming up not too far away. So volumes can increase very dramatically, and OneShip can help you with that through our bulk processing feature. So we'll show you that. It takes about half an hour to do that. If you have any questions, please use the question button in the webinar to post those, and we'll try and clear up as many of those as we can at the end. If we don't get round to all the questions, we'll follow up with you sort of separately to answer any questions you might have. Yes, so without any further ado, I'll hand over to Noni, and she'll kick us off.
Ready. Thank you, Neil, and welcome everybody to our last webinar of the year. Right, so I'm just going to give you a brief introduction into us as a company. We are long-established partners in the EMEA region. We have offices in the UK, South Africa, as well as Romania. We hold a range of accreditations and certifications just so when the time comes, we're able to give our customers the best possible service. We actually have a few awards from NetSuite, so I think this speaks to us being an all-rounder when it regards to NetSuite. Righty, so relating to OneShip, which is what we are going to be showing you today, we actually form part of the Suite Cloud Developer Network that is run by NetSuite. OneShip, our solution, actually has a built for NetSuite accreditation, and this is tested twice yearly prior the latest release of NetSuite, mainly so we can maintain our approval status. Okay, on today's agenda, and also just following through from the previous slide, just to give you information, more information about OneShip. So mainly what OneShip is, we aim to streamline the shipping process, make things as easy as possible. What Neil will be showing you at a later stage is how OneShip connects to a range of carriers. And once it has been set up and implemented, you'll find that everything just at a click of a button, you would get your labels printed. And if you have any packing slips or dispatch notes that you also want to print, these would also be automatically printed directly to your printers. And then once the process is completed, your tracking data will be automatically saved within NetSuite. And it's a clickable link. You can always, which allows you to always maybe reference the status of the track of the shipment. We also support carrier automating carrier selection. Sorry, not carrier selection, service selection. So based on a criteria, when I say criteria, there are certain rules that you can set up, and then OneShip would automatically, based on those rules, select the service for you. So that means you don't have to interact with NetSuite that much. We also actually work with a wide range of UK and EU carriers. We have this year, I believe, correct, introduced some SA carriers as well. So there's some that we support. So with OneShip, when it comes to shipping, it is support. It's more like a flexible shipping where you can actually process individually, which is what Neil is going to show you later on. But it also allows you to process in bulk. Again, basing it on what Neil has said initially. And our main aim actually is that we you get to a point where you save time, you reduce the amount of errors, and you lower your costs. Righty, so readily on hand, we have case studies should you maybe want to know how customers are interacting with OneShip and how the experience have been. If you want these, you can, making use of the Q&A feature, just say case study, and we will know that we need to follow up with this for you. Alrighty, skipping to dependencies and compatibilities. We advise that item fulfillment must be enabled in your account because this is where OneShip, that save and OneShip button Neil will show you kicks in. We support a range of item types, your non-inventory, your inventory, as well as your kit packages. I noticed it says not suitable for export shipments. This might not be a case for all customers. This is mainly, we put it there mainly so that we allude to there might be possible issues, not issues per se, Neil.
Yeah, it can work in some circumstances with kit packages, but depending on how they're configured in the account, there can be some restrictions as well. It's just something to be aware of.
Yes, righty. Thank you for that, Neil. We support actually two warehouse system management systems, which would be our Smart as well as NetSuite WMS. So if you use this, we can support them. Righty, so we have two types of integrations. What you're looking at now is what we call our direct integration. We're always looking to grow this list. Actually, annually we add a few carriers to list. One of the ones we added this year would be Royal Mail and UPS. Should they maybe be a carrier that you are using that we do not currently integrate with, we are always open to reaching out to them and see if an API integration is possible. If it is, then we can pick it up from there with you guys and the carrier. However, if you are using a carrier that we're not currently integrated with, we advise the use of GFS, AGL, ITD, or shipping or ship theory. Sorry about that. These are what we call our ship aggregators, shipping aggregators. They give you access to carriers that we actually do not currently integrate with. Previously, Royal Mail was the well-used one, but we are actually now integrated with Royal Mail directly, which is one up for us. Alrighty. Okay, so before I pass on to Neil, Neil is going to be showing you a sales order created within NetSuite and take you through the fulfillment process that's doing it individually and taking you to the bulk processing screen as well. Ready for now, that's it for me. Neil?
Thanks, Donnie. So I'm going to show, before I go on to the bulk process, which is sort of the main theme of today's session, I was just going to just briefly show you just a standard transaction in NetSuite, just to give you sort of some background about how OneShip works. So I've got a sales order I created just before we started, which I'll just open, just to explain that this is a test account we get from NetSuite, and the performance is generally very slow in this kind of account. So it might take a bit of time to some of these pages to load, but the kind of performance you see here is not at all what I'd expect you to see in a production account. So don't be concerned if this is a bit slow. So we've got anyway a pretty sort of straightforward sales order. There's 12 items on it. And this order is now ready to fulfill. So I'm going to just do that by clicking the fulfill button. And then we have the fulfillment form. And again, a very sort of standard NetSuite form. One difference is this button here, the Save and OneShip button, and that's added in by the OneShip bundle when it's installed. But other than that, it's really pretty standard fare on this form. And so we can hear our items and we can fulfill all of these now, or we can partially fulfill this transaction. And again, OneShip will work quite happily with partial fulfillments. So there's no problem with that. I'll now just go to the shipping tab. And we've now got some more. I've got the address here. I've customized this form so we have the address actually on this tab. But we've now got the sort of the OneShip fields down here, which again are added in when when OneShip is installed, and we've got here a shipping service, in this case with DPD, a weight and a package count. So I've actually got some other options here. So this is editable, these potentially editable, these fields here. So I've actually got some other options with a GFS service through one of our aggregators, and actually also with DX. So I could override this manually if I wanted to here. And likewise, I can change the weight or the package count at this stage if required. Generally, that isn't what our customers do. They're and really what we seek to do is to set OneShip up in a way that means you don't have to do any kind of manual intervention, and you can process these things very quickly. I'll just explain very briefly about how why this DPD service has been selected, because this relates to the rules that Nonny mentioned earlier. And so we have these rules that we hook up to the NetSuite shipping method. So in this case, it's standard delivery method up here. And if, for example, if I change this to another shipping method, let's go for Express, then we'll see it will change the shipping service to a different carrier entirely. And again, that's our OneShip rules are doing that. And if another way that you can see how they work is I've changed this address. I've got several addresses for this customer record. If I change it to France, again, it will switch this from a domestic UK service to a DX export service, and that's the rules are doing that automatically. So they look at things like the destination, and you can go down, say, the country level. You can even go down to sort of postcode or zip code level actually on that, in terms of determining the particular service you want to use. They also look at things like the consignment weight, the package count, package dimensions, and things like that. So there's quite a range of options there that you can set, and the idea of that is to get to a point where you're selecting the optimum shipping service here in all circumstances, and you don't have to muck about by manually changing this. So I've just changed this one back to the UK, and I'll switch back to APC, but again, I want to do the standard delivery on this one. So I'll switch that there, and we'll get back to DPD. So this is now ready to go. So this is the sort of the manual process if you are processing shipments one at a time. So I'll just click the Save and OneShip button, and this is now booking this shipment on with DPD, and it's going to print a label, and also I've set this up to print some paperwork as well at the same time. And for this example, the label image and the form image are going to appear on the screen rather than come out on my printer. So there's a label. So normally that will that label will just automatically come out on your printer, and I'll actually show you that in the next demo I do. So there's the label, and I've set this one up to print a packing slip as well. So many of our customers print packing slips, invoices, or delivery notes, or paperwork like that they generate at the same time as the shipping label when they make the booking. And again, in a normal sort of configuration, that form would print out automatically on your form printer with no intervention required. So I'll just close those down. I'll just finally go back to the fulfillment. Then we've now got the tracking link saved here, which is a clickable link again, as Nolly mentioned earlier. So I'll just click on that, and that will take me to PD's tracking site. So it will be an error because this is a test environment, so there won't be any real data there. But obviously, in a production environment, you get the latest tracking details there, and that's available through virtually all of the carriers we work with. And that tracking link's also saved on the sales order that this fulfillment was created from. And I know many of our customers again use that data in emails that they send to their customers. So that's the sort of the basic sort of OneShip process, and a lot of our customers work in a similar way to the way I've just described here. But what I wanted to look at now is our bulk processing feature, and we have a lot of our customers have sort of surges of demand, particularly at this time of year, where they need to process hundreds and sometimes thousands of shipments a day. Even with the sort of the benefit of OneShip, of this is really a one-click process once you set it up. If you're doing 2,000 shipments, it's going to take you a while to process them. So we have the bulk processing feature, which I'll just show you. So we have this here in the transactions menu, process OneShip shipments, and this gives us this screen we can see here. There's really sort of two parts to this. There are at the top there are a set of filters that you can set, which will then give you a list of transactions that meet the criteria set in the filter, which you can then process. So we've got a reasonably long list here, and if I wanted to, I could book all of these shipments on in one go. And so the filters cover things like the shipping method, the OneShip account, so that's essentially the shipper. So if you're using more than one carrier, say using FedEx and DHL, you could just select one or the other in there to reduce that list. The OneShip service, for example, and again, we can look in this column here. We've got a range of different shipping carriers that these shipments are geared up to go with. So you can drill down into that if you need to. We've got location, which is actually the only one I've set on this screen, which is the warehouse shipping location. And again, many of our customers work in more than one location. So again, that's a useful filter to make sure they're looking at the right shipments for their location. And you can also use dates and things like that. And in fact, you can customize this screen quite easily. And you can generally add filters in if they're not sort of this sort of out of the box filters that you get aren't sufficient. So it's usually possible to do that. And then the other thing, again, that's very straightforward to customize this view down here of the actual shipments that are ready to go. So this view here is driven off a saved search, which I actually got open on this other tab. So we provide this saved search with OneShip, and on the results tab, that basically lists the columns that we're going to get in this view here. So it's very simple to customize that saved search if you need to, if you want to sort of reorganize these, the order of these columns, if you want to take some out, and if you want to add some in. It's a very straightforward process, so it's it's a very tailorable, flexible tool, this. And as I say, generally what you would do once you've got your list here, you just click the Mark All button, which will check all of those boxes, and then you can now click the process button, and it will book on all of these shipments now with their carriers and print all of the labels and all of the paperwork that go with them. I won't do them all because the response time in this account is pretty slow, and we'll be here a while. So I'll just unmark, and I'll just do the first 4, just to show you how it works. So let's just do those. And we've got 2, say 4 shipments here. 2 are actually exports with DHL to France from the UK, and in this situation, I only need to print a shipping label. So with again, with most of the carriers we work with, they provide some kind of sort of paperless trading type feature, which means that we don't generally, or you don't generally need to print other customs documentation like commercial invoices or certificates of origin, because we handle all of that in the background when we make the booking. We send all of that data for things like item descriptions, item weights, commodity codes, countries of manufacture. That's all taken care of by OneShip in the background. So, and that's I know saves our customers a lot of time and sort of admin burden, but because they don't have to do that. And then the other 2 are just domestic UK ones with APC. So what I'll do now, I'll just click the process button, and it's now going to now it's exactly the same process essentially as I showed you earlier for that DPD shipment. This is all sort of going to go on in the background. So it's going to book these 4 shipments on with DHL and APC. And again, usually I've actually done the process by now, but so this account is slow. And this time it's actually going to print labels out on my label printer, which is just on my left. And again, apologies for the delays with this, but here we go. So it's now processing. And I don't know if you can hear my printer, but the labels are now coming out. I'll just wait for them to print.
Definitely can hear it.
Good. You never know with these noise cancelling microphones and things like that, whether you hear it or not. There we go. They're my labels. So just tear these off. So there are my. So there's the APC ones, and there are my two labels for DHL. So again, with those accounts, I haven't set it up to print a form, but if I had done, the forms would have come out on my form printer, which is just my label printer actually. So again, it was the same process essentially that I showed earlier for DPD, and that really. So we've now it's now taken me back to the screen so I can process some more. So generally what happens is that customers will sort of clear this list and they'll sort of do this. The customers I've seen using this, generally they'll sort of do them in batches. They'll come back, say in a couple of hours and do some more and work it in that kind of way. But that's the process. So again, that enables you to sort of do, quite large numbers of shipments in one go. And as I say, and handle that bulk and those surges in demand. So hopefully that's been useful. So I'll just now I'll start showing my screen, and I'll just hand back to Noni just to finish off, and then we'll look at any questions.
Okay, so just skipping to the costs and implementation and installation, we charge a yearly license fee of 1149. This is per carrier that you are using, assuming they're all direct integration. However, if you do have maybe two carriers that you're using and you are using via one of the shipping aggregators we showed you earlier, the second license will be discounted and you will pay only $999 for that yearly. And then we charge a once-off fee of $999. This is this is also per carrier. This is managed setup. We will set you up in Sandbox, run all the tests, and also train the guys at the warehouse and move you to production as well and offer ongoing support thereafter. Alrighty, getting to the benefits and the ROI of this. So like we said earlier, OneShip aims to streamline and improve various aspects in your business. So mainly we plan to improve your efficiency and production. And we aim to make sure that there are some level of cost savings if you are actually moving from a manual process to an automatic process. And everything would be saved within NetSuite, so you'll be able to track all your consignments within NetSuite. Ready? Before we jump to questions, just to review what Neil has shown you. He has shown you that we link to different carriers within NetSuite, and once the process is completed, you get your labels and all forms if that is also configured. And all this can be managed from a bulk processing screen or individually if you prefer that. Ready. So if you want maybe a demo catered specifically to your company, please feel free to reach out either using going to the website www.bluebridge1.com/contact us, or just shoot us an email. Make sure we reach out on OneShip at bluebridge1.com.
Yeah, thanks, Noni. Yeah, just a couple I think have come through. So there's one about is there a limit to how many transactions you can process on that screen? And that strictly speaking, there isn't a limit. It's there's the it depends really, I think, on the business process about how many you want to sort of process it in a sort of a batch. The customers I've seen using this, there's one example stands out where they've got actually more than one workstation using that process. They've got multiple carriers, and they have a workstation per carrier. So they'll have like a DHL workstation, a FedEx workstation, and a Royal Mail station. And then they're sort of processing sort of 50 to 100 at a time when I was watching them. But there is, if you do a very, very large list in the hundreds on that screen I showed you, the performance does start to degrade actually in terms of the speed of response times with that screen sort of refreshing. So probably about up to sort of 100 is an optimum number. But as I say, there's if you need to handle that, there are ways by using more than one workstation to sort of increase the output. So yeah, so thank you. We'll just wrap up there. So thanks again for attending. So we hope you found that useful. So if you want to find out more and and have a demo, so a specific demo for your business, then please reach out to us. We'll be very glad to do that. And then hopefully we'll see you next time on our next webinar.